Hey guys, RanterInShades here, exercise my first Commemorates vlog style. Now, as some of you guys know, I went to my very first Warp Tour last weekend, which is where I got this neat little knuckle puck shirt. Definitely one of the highlights there. They were great. I had a blast over there, but after the show ended, as I was about to leave and walk over to my car, I was handed this little brochure here. I took a look at it and what it said on the front and thought, this would be a pretty funny thing to make a video about, since I've never talked about vegetarianism on here before. My exact views on the matter are, I don't care if you eat meat or not as long as you don't force your diet onto others. Personally, I like the taste of meat and don't intend on stopping eating it, and it also has health benefits, as do vegetables. I'm not going to go into a debate on which food group is healthier, as they're both good for you at the end of the day. If you don't like meat or you don't like vegetables, that's fine, but I would appreciate it if I didn't have to be lectured by elitists, see, it's not just in music, within vegetarians and vegans about why eating meat is bad. It's my diet, I'll eat what I want. I also don't like the emotional appeals that I see from a lot of vegans. What I mean by this is when they'll show you clips of animals being slaughtered and essentially be like, "Look at it! Look at it! Look at it! I want all of you to look at it!" Does it skeeve me out a little? Yeah, but it's not going to change my mind about eating meat. I'm not going to generalize and say that all vegans are like Vegan Gains and Freely the Banana Girl, because I know that's not the case. All I ask is that if you want me to respect your choice to not eat meat, please respect my choice to eat meat. That said, let's take a look at the brochure. So this brochure is called Your Choice: Why Some Band Members Are Choosing a Better Way to Eat. Already I gotta point out that better is a subjective term. Like I said before, both meat and vegetables have their health benefits and are necessary for a healthy body. So which way of eating is better is irrelevant. Now there's a few pages where it talks about what's going on and what you can do throughout this thing, but the main thing I want to focus on is the quotes from a bunch of Warped musicians. The first one we see is from Kellen Quinn of Sleeping with Sirens, a band I do not care for. He says, "Being vegetarian is all about the animals for me. It's not just about not eating animals, it's about saving them too. And it's perfectly fine if you really care about animals. I'm all for animal rights and preserving species, but at the end of the day, I just like meat." Nothing really much to say there, honestly. Next we got Ollie Sykes of Bring Me the Horizon. "When I saw how animals are tortured, I said, that's it. I'm going vegetarian." And there's that emotional appeal again. Like I said, it doesn't change my mind or make the kind of meat I like seem the least bit repulsing. Jenna McDougall of Tonight Alive says, "Why are animals being treated this way?" And that's one thing you'll see a lot in this, is that some of the people in here just give these really simple one-line statements and don't really bring anything to the table. That's not exactly the best way to really sell someone on something like vegetarianism. It requires a lot more than just pulling a Helen Lovejoy and going, "Won't someone please think of the animals?" Jesse Barnett of Stick to Your Guns, great hardcore band, says, "New ideas are often met with resistance, especially if they challenge culturally accepted traditions, like eating meat. Don't let traditions dictate your life." I don't eat meat because society and culture tell me to. I eat meat, like I said, because I like the taste and it has its health benefits, just like eating vegetables. That's a really nice assumption, saying it's all society's fault. Damn you, internet! The things I believe and the way I choose to live my life have nothing to do with tradition or society telling me to. Stop acting like just because I eat meat, it's because I'm a brainwashed sheeple. Sheep. Next we get Devin Shadaker of the Acacia Strain, another band I've never really gotten into. "Cows on factory farms have personalities too, just like any other animal does." There's that beloved Helen Lovejoy argument again. No shit, animals have feelings just like humans do, but emotional appeals are not the way to convince someone to join your side. Mark Akubo of Veil of Maya, his face reminds me so much of a certain death metaler that makes a similar face. "I'm vegetarian mainly for my health, but also because I think certain meats are gross. I find certain meats to be kinda gross too, so you know what I do? I don't eat those meats. I eat the kinds of meats I know I like and don't use that sickly kind as reason to completely cut meat out of my diet. You should know better than to generalize all meat." Next we got Winston McCall of Parkway Drive, one of the best metalcore bands ever. He says, "I'm vegetarian myself. There's a disconnect there when we see a product as opposed to a living, breathing being. You're right, I don't look at a burger and go, oh my gosh, cow. I don't view eating meat as the equivalent of directly killing an animal. Not unless I go out of my way to shoot an animal, grind it up, and eat it for lunch. Then we got Jonah Weinhofen of I Killed the Prom Queen, another one of my favorite metalcore bands of all time. He says, I promote step-by-step changes. Anything helps. Thank you for being reasonable, Jonah. I very much appreciate that. I mean, I'm sure everyone else featured in here is reasonable about the subject and isn't an elitist about it, but I appreciate saying, hey, if you need time, take time. Because no one becomes a vegetarian just like that. It reminds me a lot of the episode of Rugrats when they try to wean Tommy from drinking from a bottle. Like, you don't do that to a kid that young and expect them to be ready. It takes time, just like religious transitions, changes in political views, and dietary changes take time. It doesn't happen overnight. Levy Benton of Miss May I says, I'm a vegetarian. Chinese food is my favorite. You know that it's true. Personally, I've never really liked Chinese food, but if you like it, that's cool. See what I just did there? But this is another one of those one-line statements that don't go into depth. Are you a vegetarian just because of Chinese food? I know there's probably more to it than that, but why not explain more? Travis Barker of Blink-182, why no mention of Plus 44 or Boxcar Racer, says, I feel great after every meal, and I know that no animals are getting hurt in the process. That's a win-win. But I can't feel great after eating meat, or eating something that tastes good regardless. The way I see it, a win in eating comes from whether or not you like the food you're eating. That's all that matters. Brandon Richter of A Skylit Drive, another band I don't care for, look at that really dumb haircut and that eyeliner, by the way, says, I am vegan.
I am God.
And? Don't you have a story for us? Don't you have something really enlightening to say other than, I am vegan? No? Damn it. Joel Birch of The Amity Affliction, another band I haven't really sat down and listened to, says, being vegan is easy. Really? If it's so easy, then why are vegetarian options at restaurants a lot more expensive? If it's so easy, why are people like Vegan Gains making vegans look horrible? Doesn't sound easy to me, buddy. Pardon my meat-eater privilege here. Tim McElrath of Rise Against, one of the best in melodic hardcore, says, if we can make veganism, why is there a comma there, work on the road, you can make it work at home. All 4 members of Rise Against, none of us eat meat. Good for you guys. It's not going to make me think less of Rise Against or make me stop enjoying their music. But no matter how much I like their music, and no matter how much I view Joe Principe as influential in my bass playing, it's not going to make me go, maybe I should give veganism a try. Rise Against are all vegans, so I should be too. It doesn't work that way. Derek Sanders of Mayday Parade says, after learning how animals are treated on factory farms, I didn't want to support it, so I became vegetarian. Isn't this a regurgitation of what Ollie Sykes and the dude from the Acacia Strain said earlier in here? Way to not bring anything new to the table, buddy. Christopher Drew of Never Shout Never, another band I really don't know, says, I had pets and it always seemed weird eating meat. It seemed logical to go vegetarian. The world would change for the better for animals, for humans, and the planet if everyone took that step. So because I have a dog, I should feel weird about eating meat in general? It's not like I have my dog sitting next to me as I'm hypocritically eating a dog. That would be sick and disgusting. Now, I love my dog Fenway, and I love dogs in general, but I'm not going to act like he's all the justification I need to stop eating meat. Now, for no reason at all other than the fact that I haven't done it in a while because he's kind of camera shy, I'm going to let Fenway have a random cameo. Next, we got Josh Bradford of Silverstein, one of my favorite bands ever. This is kind of random, but I've always been kind of weirded out by his mustache and just how French he looks. He says, it's a no-brainer. It's not right. Are you going to explain why exactly it's a no-brainer? Are you going to say anything beyond yet another one of these one-line statements? Come on, Josh, you're better than this. Sam Carter of Architects, another one of the greats in metalcore, says, liberate yourself. Go vegan. Liberate myself by doing what exactly? This would be a good spot for you to give a nice little helpful tip to motivate the fans. That's one way you could potentially reach someone with the subject. Craig Owens of Chiodos says, if it's something that you care about, stand up and do something about it. I'm doing that right now, Craig. That's what my entire channel is based around. Talking about things I care about that not a whole lot of people, at least at the time, were talking about. Right now I'm standing up, or rather sitting down in front of a camera, and defending my and others' right to eat meat if we want to, from propaganda involving musicians from bands I like and some that I don't care for. I have just as much of a right to do that as you do to promote vegetarianism. Think about that. And finally, on the back, for whatever reason, we got Waka Flocka Flame saying, "If the food gon' kill me in the long, then I don't want it. Hashtag that's why I'm vegan. Don't knock it without trying." First of all, very charming grammar. Second of all, was this just sniped from his Twitter? I mean, it's not like he'd say, hashtag that's why I'm vegan in a face-to-face interview. Wouldn't it be more sincere if it was through an interview? I don't know, just taking a tweet from Waka Flocka just so we can be attached to this just kind of sounds dumb. In closing, let me reiterate, yes, I eat meat and will continue to do so, unless I decide for myself after lots of thought to stop. Propaganda like this isn't what motivates or encourages me to want to become a vegetarian. And I don't care if you don't eat meat, and I won't look down on you for choosing not to eat meat. All I ask is that I be shown that same respect. And keep in mind, I've never bashed vegetarianism once in this video, so please don't get that idea when it's not the case. To close this video, I'm going to do something fun to destroy this brochure as kind of an homage to a British sellout on YouTube you might have heard of. Thank you for watching this video, take care, and have a nice day. I'm Shades, and I'll see you next time.
Look at it! Look at it! Look at it! I want all of you to look